G'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast. I am your host today, Skiddy IFS, and I am joined by my main man, G Wizzle, and we are here to talk the Cleveland Cavaliers. Welcome to the land, G. Let's get into it.
They're playing
Basketball.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The Insight NBA team is in the arena, bringing you the ultimate play-by-play on who's hot and who's not to help you win your leagues and dominate your mates. You're now hooping with your hosts, Matty G, Skiddy, and Mally for the Insight NBA show.
See, you ruined what I was about to say. I was going to say, I love the standard squeeze, and I'm lucky that you're drinking from them, and we can do all the plugs and use promo code IFS15, but take the bloody standard squeeze hat on and throw that Cavs hat on that you had in your hand, and it's now on your head after the intro. Beautiful.
That was part of the switch up. Yes, we are talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers in this one, G Wizzle. And so I had to, as much as I love the standard squeeze and all that they do, they are our day ones and our absolute superstars. But yeah, had to run the Cavs one. It's all right. I've still got the squeeze merch in the background, so it's all good.
I love that for you. Skitty, look, if this is your team, this is as far as I'm concerned, and there's probably I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I'm probably bloody really wrong. But our first potty that we ever did together was last year's team preview for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think it was. I think you were on like the mega mock, but it wasn't just us. So
yeah, no, you're bang on there.
Oh, it's special. Yeah. Happy anniversary, honey.
Oh, yeah, happy anniversary, G Wizzle. I mean, what an absolute time this has been. So, yeah, our first two together that we've had. So, and then now we get stuck into it. We get to talk about how the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to go ahead in the 24-25 season, G.
Tell me a little bit about their 23-24 season, Skidmore.
Well, I'll tell you, it could have been a little bit better, but also, too, they did win a round in the playoffs. So I think that's probably one of the main stepping stones that to be able to show the progression that we wanted to see from the young Cleveland Cavaliers team. They finished 48-34 with a shit ton of injuries throughout the season to guys like Evan Mobley, to guys like Jared Allen, to guys like Darius Garland, to guys like Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell obviously was unbelievably good last season. They ran into the eventual champion Boston Celtics, just didn't have enough firepower to be able to really do any damage to Boston. But then again, Boston was such a good, complete team that it was hard that they were going to do any damage anyway. But I'm excited to see how they're going to go this season, G.
And you did say that with the firepower as well. This was a team, the Cleveland Cavaliers last year, powered by Donovan Mitchell. And you look at their starting five, and it's just a beautiful starting five. It's a top-notch lineup. But 16th in offense last year and 7th in defensive net rating overall. So this is a team that was way better on the defensive end and just worse. They were basically mid. They were bang on bloody mid.
Yeah, it looked like JB Bickerstaff basically just said, here, Donovan, just go out and score. And that was a lot of the game plan for a majority of the time, except for when Donovan was out. We had a lot of ball movement. Jared Allen, Max Strus were playing unbelievably well because, there was no Donovan Mitchell. There was no Darius Garland. There was no Evan Mobley. And the ball movement was great. But then JB completely forgot how to coach, and that was pretty much about that. But we don't have to worry about that anymore because, gee whiz, there is a big in this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that is Kenny Atkinson, formerly with the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, Brooklyn Nets, and he was also an assistant coach at the Golden State Warriors for the past couple of years. Mate, I reckon it's an unbelievably good get for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have kept the rest of their actual starting lineup the same. The rest of their bench lineup the same, except for JT Thor coming on in, who's just recently been signed. So that's good for the Cavs. I think they've made some really smart moves to be able to bring in Kenny Atkinson. We get championship winning formula and ideas set from Kenny, from obviously the Warriors. I reckon this is the next step that they need to be able to really solidify themselves as a contender in the East.
So tell me here, what do you think is the number one thing the Cavs bring this year under Kenny Atkinson that can really influence our fantasy, I guess, outlook?
I think it's going to be a lot more team-orientated ball. We saw it. If you look back on when Kenny Atkinson was the coach of the Nets, that Nets team, they had D'Angelo Russell, Jared Dudley, Jared Allen. They had those guys there. There was no real star, but D'Angelo Russell was playing like the star just because they were playing as such a good formulated team. I think that was the year that D'Lo was all-star as well, but they made playoffs that year. But they were just such a combined team and having so much fun. And you could see how it was team ball first over one. So I think this is going to be, we can see a bit more Darius Garland getting more plays called for him, same as Evan Mobley. It won't be just Donovan pick and roll, give it off. And then when we get to the end of games, not know how to win a game and what not to do. Kenny's going to be able to pull it in and be able to formulate this team. I think it's going to be a lot more team ball. I can definitely see him utilizing Jared Allen more out of the high post. I believe that will be more of a thing. So we could probably see a little bit more assists from Jarrett. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a much more well-rounded, formulated team rather than just seeing Spider shoot 25 shots a game. He'll still get his. Don't get me wrong.
He'll still get his.
It's going to be more of a team-orientated game.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there as well. It is pretty much a team. And still a team. They haven't had a lot of ins and outs. Now, the ins are, I know that you're particularly excited about one, apart from Kenny Atkinson. They drafted Jalen Tyson, DJ Burns is in the mix, and JT Thor, who you are overwhelmingly excited about, not just because of his base jump shot in 2K. Look at that. You said the other day, I'd love to him get there. Out goes Tristan Thompson, Marcus Morris, and Damian Jones. You were just last week before we recorded this going, I hope the Cavs get JT Thor. And then it happened like the next day.
Dude, I literally said to Big Horse McDowell, I said, mate, if Cavs can somehow find a way to get JT Thor on their damn squad, and I knew it because they had that roster spot sitting there, and I thought they were going to go with Yabusele from France, but they went with JT as well. I would have been happy with either or. It's JT, just he has, that size. We've seen him go off in games as well from Charlotte. I like the switchability that he's able to bring. I think if he's in the right system, he can flourish. Not being as a main scorer or anything like that, but he can definitely fit a system and fit it well. So I like that to be able to bring more size to the table alongside the bench guys that we had. But we could even throw him in the starting into lineups with Strus, Mobley, Allen. It can work. It can definitely work. So I really like that signing by the Cavs.
I'm going to ask you this one. This is a guy who had his best fantasy season by far and away last year in an injury-ravaged season, as you were right. This guy last year, Donovan Mitchell, played 67 games. He finished as pretty much first-round value, 14th overall because of the knocks in the games. He came back injured. He tried to fit his way through. He is, without a doubt, this. Yes. He is indeed the team top gun. What do you love as a Cavs fan about the Don? And my question to you, without the bias, is he first round again this year? Yes or no?
I have him right on the turn, G. As I said, I think there'll be a bit more team ball for the Cavs this season, but we did see him finish eighth per game last season. He was 29th overall because he did only play the 55 games, G Wiz. The thing that I see, I know a lot of people are pretty comfortable with having him in the first round. The 1.8 steals is quite outlandish, I believe. They weren't all pickpocket on balls. They were a lot of intercept lane kind of steals, which I feel like he can continue up. I just don't know. If it's 1.8, I don't think. If it's 1.6, he's not first round. But then again, the points alone do treat him as a first round player, if you know what I mean. It's let me explain it in a way of like Jason Tatum, right? Tatum doesn't he's never finished in the he has, but he's not a first round finishing per game player. He's always finished around 17 or so, right? But the fact that he's able to he's averaging 28, 29 points, and he's one of those elite scorers in the NBA, it bumps him up because he's elite at a certain category. It's like how you bump up Trae Young for his assists. It's like how you bump up Tyrese Halliburton for his assist. It's like that. So he may not finish as a first round, but I'm more than happy with having him around that, 11 to 14 mark in drafts. I think that's pretty comfortable.
And Here's a bit. I think this is the first time any of us are going to give our second passes around. Initially, when I was flirting with the draft board for this year, I had him in, I think I had him at 8 or 9 on our first pass. Let me bring it up. Yep. No, I lie. I had him at 7 to start with. I was the highest on the Don.
Yep.
You were the furthest out at 12. I've actually bumped him back down now to 15 in my latest edit. I've done a massive recalculate. I thought, for example, I was too hard on Kyrie Irving, and I took him out, but I still like my Kyrie Irving, and I think there's other guys who can bring that value. But I think what we're going to be looking at in draft day is someone getting a little bit frisky, someone thinking that they're going to see more than the 55 games, and them jumping in the first round for that guy, which is going to present value in the turn or at the beginning of that second round. If he's sitting there at 15 or 16 and it's a little bit buyer beware for some reason, and there's, he only played 55 games, and if I can get him at pick 20, I just think I like that extra few spots of gravy on Don Mitchell next year. But I'm probably moving him to like 15. If I can get him at 20, Skiddy, you'd be absolutely laughing.
100%. But so would you take Kyrie Irving over Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. I'm the other way. I would easily take Donovan over Kyrie.
Really? See, in my most recent draft, maybe we should have made that the ADP battle. We've got an ADP battle coming up in the show.
We're doing it right now, and we're already talking about it, which can accumulate into it. But yeah, I'm seriously taking Donovan over Kyrie easily. Not easily, but I'm comfortable with taking Donovan before I will take Kyrie Irving in drafts.
The thing that for Kyrie always gets me there, like Donovan, he is an elite free throw shooter. He gets the points. He gets wide open shots. I love the assists from him. I love the steals. He gets a few cheeky blocks. He's about half a block on there at the same time.
So is Donovan.
Look, he does. The 1.8, as you said, was a wonderful outlier last year, and I was all for that. But I do think that Kyrie Irving offers me a higher field goal percentage, which I value around the similar spot. So I'm having him around a 500, and that's where you can see on Donovan, the weakness there for him is always going to be his field goal percentage and his turnovers. I just find Kyrie is a little bit more secure with the ball. But if I can get one of those two guys as a late first, second, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, you can say that compared to Kyrie, obviously Donovan's field goal percentage is worse, but he was at 400. It was 46% from the field goal range last season for Donovan. So it's still very respectable from a guard. Yeah, I'll still take Donovan. That's where. All right,
you can take Donovan because I want you to take Donovan because he is fantastic. Take him. We mentioned the ADP battle. We mentioned the ADP battle, so let's get into it. Wait a second. Here's someone who's made a surprise visit. He doesn't even know he's going to be in the show. There you go. He didn't even expect to be here because he didn't see it.
You. My headphones aren't working.
Good on him. Well, there's Matrix, who he looks good. I wonder if he can hear us now. Is his headphones there? Let's ask him who the ADP battle is. What a wonderful little cameo for a Matrix. Can you hear us yet? Okay, great. Let's go thumbs up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kick him out of it. And it was a good time while he joined, but screw him. He doesn't get to vote. And laters. We're going to get into – good to see you, beautiful man. We are going to get into this one. It is our – this was our ADP battle of the night. We do one every team. Two guys who are finding similar value around the place in drafts right now. Darius Garland, not a great season for him last year, Skiddy. Who gets this for you?
I still give the nod to DG. I just feel like his assists are going to be able to be a bit more valuable than I would give the nod to CJ McCollum as point Zion, which is what Pelicans will try and do, and DeJounte Murray, obviously, to be able to come into that side. Garland, as he did average he did average 6.5 assists last year, but the points per game were down, the field goal percentage was down, turnovers were up. He's never going to get your blocks, but neither CJ. If the games played can rise back up and we stop getting hit in the damn eye, then we could have our old DG back. Remember, this guy was, even with Donovan, he was top 50. So I'll still have that crack on DG to bounce back. It was just a down year.
And this is the thing, it's kind of like we're punting on him to be better. He finished overall, depending on who you look at, for instance, hashtag basketball last year, had him finishing at 80th overall, a woeful field goal percentage. It was 446 from last year. The rebounds, he's never a great rebounder. And the 6.5 assists per game were down for him. Donovan Mitchell was 6.1. So less than half an assist between them. if Darius can go on more of a role as a facilitator in this team and up that field goal percentage, get to the line more. I like the 2.3s from him, the 18 points. As you said, Kenny Atkinson, I think he's going to get me there. Initially, I was thinking, you know what? Am I that not high on CJ this year? Is he going to take that much of a hit with DeJounte there?
Yes.
And I'm just gleaning down the barrel of it now that I like Darius Garland in Cleveland, a known commodity, than I am about the unknown commodity of what's going to happen in New Orleans.
Yep. I would definitely take that 100%. I'm with you on that one, Joe. Yep.
Current ADP projection battle, both have them around 90 to 95. So these are guys who are going around that like 85 to 95 marker in your draft, Skiddy. So
it's a strange one though, because I've seen Darius Garland go like top 60 in a couple of drafts, but I've also seen
drafting
him go
upside. You're drafting at that ceiling though. You're drafting at that upside.
Again, it's one of those things where you can. This is a guy that can average those 8 assists. Like it's a valuable point to be able to get that time in the draft where a lot of point guards have already gone off the board. You're getting a starting point guard. You know what you're going to get from DJ. While McCollum, I don't feel like he's going to have the ball in his hands as much. You've got DeJounte, you've got Brandon Ingram, who's also an ISO scorer. You've got Zion Williamson. I think CJ is going to be more of this spot up kind of shooter. He'll be there, obviously, ball dominating at some points. I just don't think his assists will go up by any chance. I think it would.
And this is where I'm swooping in and almost taking D'Angelo Russell as a third one in the ADP battle, because this is a guy for a completely unchanged Los Angeles Lakers team who gave us such incredible value last year, and he's still around the same place in drafts. So for me, this is where I'm looking at, as you said, the point guards go off the board. If it's between these two guys, bullet to my head, I'm with you, mate. I'm taking your boy Darius Garland every single freaking day of the week. I'm right there with you. 2 votes for Darius.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the other thing I just want to bring up as well, Jay. Yes, it was a down season last year. So let's talk about the first year where Darius and Donovan played together, right? Darius was 48th overall. He averaged 21.5 points, 2.5 threes, 8 assists, 1.2 steals, shot 86% from the free throw line. He was at 46% from the field. So he went down in field goals, assists, threes, points, and field goal percentage. Yeah. And he went up in turnovers last year. So complete down year, but he can do it with Donovan. So don't be scared of, Donovan's there, so he's going to take it from DJ. No. Mate, he was injury-riddled the whole year.
And look, he did finish in 40th according to hashtag basketball the year prior. His field goal percentage was down 463. The rebounds, again, never great, but you're right, 7.8 assists that year, 2.5 threes, 21.6 points. So everything was up. Mm-hmm. Last year was down. He couldn't get the body healthy. He couldn't get it right. It's a powerful Cavaliers team with him in the driver's seat as point guard. And also he did work well. The thing there was, and this is the interesting thing, and this is where I think it's a really interesting experiment, and a look at Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell that year, 484 from the field, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals. So he's only gone up 0.3 steals last year. The turnovers were down the year before, but Donovan Mitchell was still the 15th player. So Donovan Mitchell hasn't moved in 2 years, no matter how good or whatever. He was even better last year. Well, he was 15. But Darius is the constant that's changed, and I'm looking to pick up Darius Garland late, especially if I can get him at that upside, but I'm not reaching into the 60s. I'm seeing where he falls. But there's another guy that you think is going to rise up the ranks this year. Why don't you tell us about him, Skiddy? Your opportunity.
Yes, that is the big man that's just signed on again. So I absolutely love that. Evan Mobley has signed on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He gets his rookie extension, which I love that. 15.7, 9.4 rebounds, 3.2 assists. He gets the defensive stats as well. 1.4 blocks and 0.9 steals. Love that. I feel like if he can unlock a 3-ball G, it is like game, set, match for Evan Mobley, and the sky is the limit because you get defensive stats out the wazoo there. He can play alongside Jared Allen. It's no dramas whatsoever. But if he can space the floor and be able to get those catch and shoot off the pick and fades, yeah, he is going to be all over it. He's an amazing offensive rebounder, defensive rebounder. weak side, in the middle. It doesn't matter what you need. He can also pass as well. So I can see that coming up as well.
Yep.
I feel like with Kenny Atkins at the helm, we're just going to say a way more complete style of Evan Mobley instead of JB Bickerstaff going, okay, Evan Mobley, it's your turn this possession. Here's the ball on the three-point line. Try and do a hezzy, try and do a spin, try and spin back. Don't worry about passing the ball. It's just you going ISO for this shot clock. Kenny's going to actually be able to have ways to be able to get his game unlocked and be able to bring him into the right positions to do the right things. He's an amazing player. Let's not sugarcoat it. He's an amazing player. So I think Kenny's the one that's going to be able to unlock this, and we could see another massive season from Evan Mobley. He was 42nd per game last season. In 50 games played as well, I can definitely see that going up.
If he can get the magic number for him is 1-3 a game, because I'm basing all my projections off him getting half a 3 a game, which means if he can somehow get out there and hit like 2 threes in one game or 3 threes randomly in one game, none the next game. But if he can finish it with 82 threes a game, I think that's the thing because that's double the projection that I have right now. I have him basically half a 3 a game. If he can double that, the one thing that never bodes well for me is, and Skiddy, you preach from the same book. Your free throw percentage is a really good indicator for how you are as a 3-point shooter. And he has never been an exceptional shooter. He gets to the line about 3.5 attempts a game, between 3 to 4 attempts, and he's about 720 on average for his career. If he was around the 800 mark, I'd have a lot more confidence with that 3-point developing. But mate, if he can finish the year with 1-3 a game, that would be insane. I think he'll be up around 1.5 blocks a game. I think he'll be there at like half a steal a game. I have him top 40 in my projections, and I'm quite comfortable with that. I've seen him. He has top 30 potential. He has top 30, like he has third round potential.
Mate, he has bloody top 20 potential if he gets it all to go into one spot. I don't know if he can do it this year with the Cavs, but down the line, definitely. He's got that archetype that's able to do it. If you want a bit more confidence, G, in the last month of the season, Evan Mobley shot over 80% from the free throw line. That was a really nice sample size for him. And that was just like this one little split in time where it just came together. He was getting to the line around the same amount of times, and he looked like he was developing his stroke. If I get a taste in the preseason that they're kicking out to him, or even the pick and roll game, kind of like, Vooch. I call it the Vooch. But if he can be up the top and he can get up to that top and set a pick and then just be standing there at the top and people are leaving him for an open 3 just once a game, and he can make it from the top of the key, that's an easy drop in for him if he's got that straight on shot, bang down the center there. I'm with you. I think he's looking. Now, where are you reaching for him in drafts? Again, we're at the ceiling, like we see. No. I'm going around the 40s, rough. Yeah, around the 40s. I feel like there's guys that I'm feeling a bit more comfortable in. But then again, this could be a guy that you take at 42 and can easily give you, ridiculous return on value. So if Atkinson gets a bit more of him in it, then yeah, absolutely.
And I think one of the things we need to look at here is this. This is a starting 5 lineup, Skiddy, that we can say that pretty much you would argue most players here are almost draftable on draft day, except for Maxi Strus, who's probably just outside the 150 by my opinion, but who you can use as a streamer and be active and get a little funky and flirty with it. But my big horse in the middle there, Jared Allen. Oh, what a starter. What a man, Jared Allen. Huge value last year.
Yeah, so Strusy ended up, just quickly, he was 122nd per game in the 70 games. So he did return value, 110 ranked. So, I mean, it's not a sexy upside, but it's not bad. But yeah, Allen, he was 45th per game. Pretty nice. He averaged the double-double of 16 and 10. Pretty good field goal percentage. Blocks were down, though. Need that to come up. As I said, though, I feel like he can be a bit more of a distributor as well this season. I think that is part of his game that he's able to.
And in our first draft boards as well, you were the hardest. And I think I love it when you don't do the homer thing and you don't draft aggressively on the guys that you love the most. You had him at 6. You had him at 60. But the consensus between Matrix, myself, and Mally, I was at 43, Mally was 46, and Matrix was 44. Jared Allen was one of the most consistently drafted guys around that zone that we were doing with confidence. And on every projection set that I've seen right now, he's returning around the same value. And I absolutely love that for him. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, come draft day, if I can get him around 45 to 50, I'm laughing. And this is a center that I think is fantastic, Skiddy.
Yep, I agree with that, mate. It doesn't absolutely kill you in the free throw percentage like most other centers do. So, yeah, I'm around with that. Around the 50 mark for me. I think that's pretty comfortable.
Absolutely comfortable. Is there anyone else that you would like to look at in Cleveland?
Look, for the best of the rest, guys, I mean, look, as I said, pretty happy that they were able to sign JT Thor. I love that from them. But, yeah, Dean Wade, he had some times when Mobley or Allen were out. He was the next guy up off the bench. He was a pretty good serviceable defender for the Cavs. Hit some threes, got some rebounds, did little bits and pieces. But Karis LeVert was the next guy up. He was our sixth man. He did a little bit of everything. If he could fix up the field goal percentage, then, yeah, he'd be good. But he is quite a nice little source of assists, G.
He is.
Karis. So he averaged 5 last year, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. So right there, that's what you know what you're getting. It's just that the fact that he was going 42% from the field and 76% from the line, so the percentages hurt. But the counting
really
stats were okay, especially from a off the waiver wire guy.
For my mind, I'm okay with streaming in Dean Wade for the back-to-backs of the season. And when I look at the NBA fantasy schedule for these guys, they're pretty solid throughout. And coming up to your playoffs, they're going to set you up with 5 games. So there's like this last great stand of 5 games next year, and it's in week 16. And in week 16, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it was 12 teams that play 5 games in week 16. And then it moves into the regular season. The Cavs have 5 games, then following it with 3, 4, 3. But if you're finishing in weeks 20 or 21 next year, they have 4 games each. Now, this is where a lot of leagues seem to finish. So you want to plan for that in your fantasy lineups. They have a schedule. The only big knock, and this is where they get cooked again, they've got 2 games for 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, damn. What weeks are they?
Week 8 and week 9. They hit it. Now, they do play the 6 games in week 7, and they've got the 2, 2, 4, 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, which makes them a little bit less appealing and dings that value. That's why my projections of Donovan have actually dropped. Seeing those games then, that was one of my factors. I'm a one for games. And I mean, yeah, they all play 82 games, but when are they and when do they count? And for me, that was a little bit of a like, oh, Jesus. Nope. Look. So
they have a lot of breaks early in the season and then come home strong late.
Yeah, they come home with a 3, 4, 4 and 4 to start before 3 and then 3s and then the hard week 6. They've got 2 of the big weeks there with 6 games and 5 games. A lot of the teams do break them up. For instance, the Rockets have a 5 and 5, and there's some 6s in there, but these guys hit it twice with the back end loaded in week 16. So that'll help you get to the playoffs in week 16 and that finals push 100%. But then it's going to leave you the week after with 3. Whereas I like to balance my 4-game weeks out throughout the season. So just a consideration when drafting these guys. We did mention it, the big draft board, Skiddy. Tell us why people need to get onto this one, and the link is in our Patreon below. You need to get this for your drafts.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's got 220 plus players, player references, and stats on every single guys. The main thing about it is, though, that you get mine, Mally, G, and Matrix's draft overviews and whatever we think that's going to go on. And, it's got all the info in one place, which is the most important thing because we don't have to go from site to site to site. It's all there. It's just a great tool to be able to help you guys win your drafts.
Mate, get onto it. It is in the link below. Make sure you like and subscribe to all things Insight. Skiddy, go Cavs. Where do they finish in the East this year?
Just get me into playoffs. That's all we need. Just get into playoffs.
Just get into playoffs. I think they'll be there. Hey, like and subscribe. We'll come more. We've got more draft shows coming up real soon. Take care, everyone.